What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. We'll continue this conversation with you concerning the complete history of boxing. On March 26, 1915, welterweight Jack Britton and Ted Kid Lewis will begin their 20-bout series. They will kick it off with a 10-round no-decision contest in New York. Now, Jack Britton's name was William J. Brenslin. He was better known to the boxing community as the Boxing Marvel. He was born October 14, 1885 in Clinton, New York, and he would die March 27, 1962 in Clinton, New York. He fought from 1904 to 1930. He stood 5 foot 8 inches, had a 70-inch reach, had a record of 158 total bouts, 104 wins, 29 losses, 30 knockouts, and he was stopped once in his career. Now, as for Ted Kid Lewis, his name was Gershon Medeloff. He was born October 28, 1893 in St. George, London. He would die October 20th, 1970 in St. George, London. He stood 5 foot 7.5 inches, had a 69-inch reach, and had a total bout career of 237 fights, 191 wins, 77 knockouts, 32 losses, 14 draws, and he was stopped 6 times. Now, he was in the ring with fighters such as Maxie Rosenblum and Charlie Ballinger. He was the first fighter to wear a mouth guard, or what is known to the United Kingdom as gum shields. I'm going to show you a page out of Jack Britton's scrapbook. I just thought of this, so this was not planned. I got to go get the book, but it's Jack Britton's scrapbook, 1,000 pages, 2,000 front and back. The entire book is Jack Britton. Let me go get the book and show you a page between Ted Kid Lewis and Jack Britton. Might have been their 19th pro fight, but I have all the fights, but I'll just show you the one page. Now, I had to pull this book out. It was all the way at the top. And I have to go through 1,000 books to get to some of these books when I show you some of the articles. The difference between the channel that I have and how I give you fights, I give you authentic, nothing downloaded. Everything is from the scrapbook. So this is Britton retains the crown, outpoints Ted Kid Lewis. The American champion outbids the British title holder in 15 rounds, receiving unanimous decision of the judges. It was their 19th ring encounter. So this is their 19th bout. And like I said, I have all 20 bouts, tons and tons of pages, different articles, the Daily Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, Daily Mirror, tons and tons of newspaper articles are in Jack Britton's book. Ted Kid Lewis has his book as well, different languages. But I just wanted to show you this. This was not planned, so let me get back to the conversation of 1915. This is Jack Britton's boxing card. He was a phenomenal fighter, very underrated in today's conversation, but he was brilliant. 1922, he'd be in the ring with Benny Leonard, and Benny Leonard had him hurt, had him down. And it wasn't for the fact that Benny Leonard would hit him while he was down. Benny Leonard could have been possibly the welterweight champion of the world. And it's very curious to me as how it would have turned out if Benny Leonard would have faced Mickey Walker. Because Mickey Walker, in fact, I'll show you that. I'll keep the book out. Mickey Walker took the title away from Jack Britton. All right, let's get back to the conversation. Now, on April 5th, 1915, Jess Willard knocks out heavyweight champion, the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson, in 26 rounds in Havana, Cuba. Now, Jack Johnson claims he made a deal with the government and he would be willing to entertain his World Heavyweight Championship title against Jess Willard. Here's the thing about that bout with Jess Willard and Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was set up to do time. They wanted Jack Johnson separated from the World Heavyweight Championship title. They were trying every conceivable way to make that happen. Everything but assassinate him. They came up with the White Hope Championship division from 1911 to 1915. And it only ended when Jess Willard would defeat Jack Johnson. And Commissioner Landers, who was a judge, he saw to it that Jack Johnson would do time. Because the Mann Act was not designed for an individual or a specific crime. It was designed for multiple women who were exploited and transferred from one state to the next for immoral prostitution purposes. And that crime didn't fit the case of Jack Johnson. As a matter of fact, when he married Belle Shriver, it was before this act was put in place for this circumstance. Now, Belle Shriver was underage, yes. Her mother went to authorities to get her back, yes. But that should not have applied in this case to Jack Johnson because they were married. But Jack Johnson was who he was. Commissioner Landers was who he was. What am I saying? He's the same man who in 1932, Harry Wiley Sr., who by the way is not in the Hall of Fame as a trainer as of yet, walked into the office of Commissioner Landers. And he was laying out a couple of concerns that the black fighters on that team had based on how they were treated. They didn't have the same rights. They couldn't change in the dressing room, in the locker room, as the white fighters. They couldn't take showers. They were getting 1 to 2 meals a day, not 3 meals a day or 4 meals a day, as the white fighters were. They were getting powdered milk, powdered eggs, when the white fighters were getting steak and eggs. This is what happened. They were getting passed down boxing trunks with holes in them, shoes with holes in them. Equipment, gloves that were used and worn when the white fighters were getting brand new equipment. I'm telling you what happened. And Harry Wiley Sr., and obviously I'm paraphrasing, walked into the office with the concerns of the fighters that he cared for. Because he didn't just become a trainer for that event. The reason why he was chosen. Because he would bring home trophies from national affairs. He was one of the best trainers they had. And they chose him because they knew he can get the job done. And I give him full credit for the 5 medals that were brought back from the Los Angeles Games in 1932. It was 2 gold and 3 bronze. One of the bronze medal winners wound up becoming a champion. His name was Lou Salica. I spoke with him. But getting back to this situation, when Harry Wiley Sr. addressed Landers, Landers said, obviously I'm paraphrasing once again, "Who the hell do you think you are? Coming to my office. Matter of fact, I don't need you. You can get the hell out of here." And he fired him. He fired Harry Wiley Sr., same man that was responsible for Jack Johnson's 1 year and a day. This is the kind of treatment these men would have to deal with. This is the kind of behavior they would have to endure. And that's why Jack Johnson behaved the way he behaved. didn't live in a vacuum. He saw what happened to Sam Langford. He saw what happened to the colored champions. He understands the world that he lived in. And it's unfortunate that these stories must be told. But they must be told in order to understand the psyche of these fighters. Remarkable situation, remarkable. Now, Tuesday, April 13th, 1915, 35-year-old Joe Jeanette defeats 32-year-old Sam Langford, 12 rounds, Boston, Massachusetts. The contest took place at the Athletic Club, and Joe Jeanette would become the colored heavyweight champion of the world. The referee was Jack McGurkin. He would raise the hand of Joe Jeanette. The Iron Man of West Hoboken. The man who had a fight in 1909. 3 separate fights with the same man, Sam McVeigh. But April 17th, 1909. Oh, what a hell of a fight. To me, in my opinion, I still have it regarded as the greatest heavyweight championship contest. Second to Joe Louis and Max Schmeling in 1938 because of the meaning of that fight. But the contest of Sam McVeigh and Joe Jeanette, second to none. Joe Jeanette went down 27 times. Sam McVeigh 11 times, 32 times in combined. Sam McVeigh needed a paper bag in order to breathe. And then he came back out for the next round. The bout lasted 49 rounds. Joe Jeanette had a bucket of water poured over his head. This was the most brutal heavyweight championship contest. More brutal than Jake Kilrain and John O'Sullivan in 1889. Wow. Tuesday night, April 27th, 1915. 25-year-old Joe Jeanette and 30-year-old Sam McVeigh drew 12 rounds in Boston, Massachusetts at the Athletic Club. Joe Jeanette would defend his colored heavyweight championship title that evening. Remarkable story. You'll be hearing more from me with those stories as my project is completed. May 22nd, 1915. 19-year-old Les Darcy defeats 24-year-old Jeff Smith on a foul in 2 rounds. The contest took place in Sydney, Australia. He would win the Australian recognition of the middleweight championship title, Sydney Stadium, New South Wales, Australia. Les Darcy, 19 years old. Jeff Smith, the Harlem He's the Bayonne Globetrotter. He was 24 years old. The Harlem Globetrotter was Harry Smith, and we'll get to him. In 1929, he would defend his honor in Harlem with another fighter by the name of Julius Williams. Called him Jack McVeigh. They would fight for the colored middleweight championship title at the Athletic Club. It was in 1929. But Les Darcy and Jeff Smith. I'll go in depth with Jeff Smith because he needs to be spoken about. I have Jeff Smith, and I'll tell you right now. Mike Gibbons, Jeff Smith, Harry Greb, those three are in my top 10 greatest middleweights of all times. And I told you how you judge fighters. When you look through their career, you want to check and see if those fighters that they're fighting were in the new era. Were they in the old era? In other words, if that fighter that you're speaking about, the fighter in question, is pulling out of the older era, or if he's pulling into a new era, or if he's doing both, how does he handle the changes in styles? How does he handle the changes in circumstances? Is he that same fighter? Is he making adjustments as Larry Holmes was able to do? As Ray Robinson was able to do? As Henry Armstrong was able to do? As Muhammad Ali was able to do? That's how you can tell whether you're looking at greatness or not. When he's pulling out of his new era, going into his current era, leaving his old era, and still making the same progress. That's how you judge a fighter. I went through this with all my historian friends over the years, since I'm in my teens. And that's how it's been explained. That's how you judge a fighter. Obviously, the defense, the offense, the ability to move, the ability to outthink, the IQ, make adjustments. How does he handle himself when he's hurt? Eyelash in the eye, all the basic stuff. Does he get through it? But how does he handle the new styles as he's moving into a new decade, as he's moving into a new era, as he's moving into a new generation? How does he quiet down the intensity that's in front of him? That's how you judge a fighter. June 1st, 1915, 24-year-old Mike Glover defeats 28-year-old Matt Wells, 12 rounds, Boston, Massachusetts, to win the welterweight championship crown. At the Atlas Arena, the referee was Pasty Haley. June 12, 1915, 19-year-old Les Darcy knocks out 22-year-old Mick King in 10 rounds, Sydney, Australia. He would retain his Australian recognition of the middleweight championship crown and a Commonwealth British Empire middleweight championship crown. The referee was Harold Baker. Now, June 21st, 1915, Jack Britton defeats Mike Glover, 12 rounds, Boston, Massachusetts. He would win the World Welterweight Championship crown at the Athletic Club. Mike Glover, let's talk about him. He was Michael J. Kavanagh. He was born December 18th, 1890 in Lawrence, Massachusetts. He would die July 11th, 1917. He was 26 years of age at the time of his death. And he would reside as middleweight, Middleborough, Massachusetts. Now, he stood 5'9" and had a total bout career of 93 fights, 62 wins, 16 knockouts, 15 losses, 15 draws, and 1 no decision contest. He was something else. 24-year-old Mike Glover. He held the recognition of the welterweight championship crown, a victory win over 28-year-old Matt Wells, June 1st, 1915, at the Athletic Club in Boston, Massachusetts Arena. 3 weeks later, June 21st, 1915, Glover would lose his welterweight championship recognition with a loss to Clinton, New Jersey, Jack Britton. And Glover fought Ted Kit Lewis 3 times. I'm going all by memory here. He defeated European World Welterweight Champion by knockout, July 22nd, 1913. Would defeat Jack Britton, November 27th, 1913, winning a 10-round newspaper decision. And he would lose his claimant. And when you said claimant, today they would call it interim, but it puts you in line for the title opportunity. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I'm going to end this video. We'll pick up in the next video of the complete history of boxing. Thanks for watching. Be well. Be well. Peace.